Farron. And this is the thing, guys. She is been in education forever. And one of the things I loved about it when she first got in is that she's super busy. She's successful. And the last thing that she needed to plate was one more business. And I'll just tell you that and we all know what that like when you're so busy, you just don't really want to take anything on. But then something comes along that's just so good, you have no choice but to engage it. And that's the way that Flex and Ruby impacted her. And so I'm super excited to have her on the team. And not only that, she's opening up the continent of Africa with her team. It's incredible what's happening in the work that she does and how tirelessly she is putting in all of these weird hours. You know, when you're building an international business, it's not always between 8 and 5 in your time zone. It's 8 and 5, 8 and 6, 8, 12, 24 hours a day when you're building internationally. And she is absolutely taking on the responsibility to do it. So thank you so much, Tanya. And I can't wait to hear about all the things you're going to bring with us today. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you go ahead and take it away. And I'm going to push your screen up as well. And you are all set, ready to go.
Oh gosh, thank you for such a sweet introduction, Robert. I have absolutely loved being a part of this Ruby family. I've had a blast. And you're right, I wasn't looking for one more thing to do, but once it was introduced to me, I was like, this is so stinking fun. You know, why would I not want to share this with everybody that I know in the whole world, especially the education community, which is definitely my jam. I have been in education for a long time, over 27 years. I spent 14 years as a fifth grade teacher, and then the rest of my career as an administrator at elementary, middle school, high school. I am currently a middle school virtual principal. So I've been brick and mortar and I'm virtual currently right now. That's a whole nother story, but absolutely love education. So when Robert asked if I would present on this, I was super excited. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. I'm not going to lie. I had a blast. I got my nerd hat on and I went, and this is my jam. So I want to just go in and talk to you about the education modules, how if you are talking to people who are educators, how you can help them use this in their daily life, what they are doing as educators, and homeschool families, people that just have parents that are home in the summer. So we've got lots of things to talk about today. So feel free to cut me off whenever we need to, Robert. I'm going to make this brief, concise, hopefully, and to the point. And so that's my goal.
Hey, you're the educator here. I'm going to give you as much time as you want because I'm ready to learn from you. So we're taking notes. Take it away.
Thank you. It's so fun. Super, super fun. So if I was an educator, well, I am an educator, but if I was using this in my classroom as a fifth grade teacher, you know, social studies was always my jam, history, American history. And so, you know, the first thing that I would do would be go into this teacher lesson plan generator. That is the very first thing that I would do to be able to give me an idea of what I needed to do. Now, a long time ago when we were teaching, we had thematic unit books. We literally flipped through pages and made copies and all of that. This is literally at our fingertips. We can put in whatever we want. This is the prompt that I put in yesterday. As simple as it is, events leading up to the Boston Tea Party during the American Revolution. That is a big, I know that standard. So I know that's an important standard for our kids to learn. And then, so I just simply put that prompt in there. And then I was able to go in and how many modules, meaning like how many days do I want of the lesson? How many components of the lesson do I want? And so we'll do middle of the road about 5. I'm going to tell you guys, I've fact checked all of this. It's correct, which is even better, right? We want to make sure of all of that. So this gives us really, really great content very, very quickly on just some key components of the Boston Tea Party, the American Revolution. And so one of the things that I thought was amazing in here was that you were able to just see the goals, right? That's important. As an educator, we always make sure that we share our goals with our students. They need to know the goals of the lesson, and we need to make sure that we're on target as we're teaching the lesson. And so having these goals here, I'll bring it over here to make it a little bit bigger. The other feature that I absolutely love about Ruby is this feature here. I always tell people about this. Super important to be able to make some edits, changes if you need to. And then the activities, you know, I love this going into the activities. You know, if you're teaching and you're talking to teachers, they use a variety of lesson plans, a Madeline Hunter lesson plan or a gradual release lesson plan. And these are exact ways that you can do that. You can give a brief overview of the causes, a group discussion, and introducing some key figures into the events. So that is definitely a great way to do that. Timeline of major events, it tells you to grab some visual aids. So it gives you those types of materials that you would need for you to go in and do. Now, if I was doing this as a teacher, I would be using this. And of course, it goes into the rest of the events that go up to the Boston Tea Party. So like the Stamp Act. I know those of you might be going back to fifth grade social studies, Boston Massacre, the Tea Party, the legacy of the Boston Tea Party. So it gives you all of that information. Now, if I was an educator with my students, I would then send my kids into the topic research at this point in time. So I think that this should be tab number 2 for every teacher, and extra, you know, students should be having this also. And that is a conversation that I do have with educators of getting students, how do they use, you know, AI tools, because our kids are going to need to know how to use them, and we're responsible for teaching them how to use these. So, you know, I would have a student be dropping in some information on the American Revolution. Sorry about that. Whoops. I can't, you'll learn this about me. I can't talk and type at the same time. Cannot do it.
That's great because I can't talk or type, period. So it's all good.
So you can have the kids go in and do a topic research study, have them come into this next piece and go in and dig a little bit deeper, right? So what do they need to know about this? What are some of the facts that they need to learn about this, the Boston Tea Party? So kids can now dig a little bit deeper and deeper into it. And so they can learn more about it. They've got facts right there in front of them. And then you can go in and create a study guide. Now, this is really important for people who are that are teaching special education. Most of our kids who are at IEPs and have special education, they go ahead and they have to provide study guides for kids specifically. And so a lot of times a teacher is having to take notes to the side and providing that for the students. So when you're talking to educators, make sure that they know that they are able to grab this information here and drop it in. So on the study guide generator, there's a subject, right? So it's social studies. And then you can enter the topic. And then you click generate and the study guide comes out for the students to be able to just have right away. It is incredible. So it gives like words and definitions and then some practice questions. That's super important, especially even right when you're a parent and you want to help your kids study. You don't really know what they're studying. And so you don't really know what they need to study. And how many times have your kids said, well, I didn't bring the book home. I don't have the book. I don't know. Well, now you can help them study by creating the study guide and going through that with them together. And then there's great practice questions. And I love these questions because they're open-ended. What were the navigation acts and how do they impact colonial trade? How did the Stamp Act contribute? You can also level this up by changing in your prompt by asking it for a higher grade level. That was one thing that I noticed. So we could say like 8th grade, because in Missouri, they learn this in 5th grade and in 8th grade. And so you can change the level of it, the understanding, and they go a little bit deeper as they get older. As you can see, some things change here. What was the purpose of the Proclamation of 1763? A little bit higher level thinking with adding the purpose. So that changes that piece for it. All right. So you can go into those aspects right away, just on those different topics that you have. And then I decided to really have some fun. And I was like, well, what would I do if I had a group of kids and I wanted to find some images on the Boston Tea Party? And so this image here is I asked for a timeline. That was the prompt that I put in, a timeline of the Boston Tea Party. And so I was able to see the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, the Boston Massacre, when the timeframes of all of it was, and then images on that. And so it was really cool to be able to create and see some really amazing images on the Boston Tea Party. Okay, enough of the Boston Tea Party. So we can go in and we can look at, you're a parent, you're at home in the summertime with your kids. What are you going to do with them all day? Are you going to let them just play on, different, gaming devices and things like that? I think you should create this yourself, and I have a great idea for you. So you can go in and you can do some information and lesson plans on insects. I don't really love bugs in the Midwest.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
right?
A good
Insects
one. I love
in the Midwest for children 5 to 10 years old. So this can be for that at-home mom, the person who's homeschooling with research and investigation, with tools and bug kits. Right? Bug kits are always fun. So we could do 5 modules on that. We'll give you 5 days of playing with your kids, playing with some bugs. And so introduction to insects, the insect anatomy, researching insects in the Midwest, investigating insects in a field, and a bug kit exploration and review. So so many great things. You have grandkids. You're going to be watching them over the summer. I have a friend who's an educator. She doesn't say she's babysitting her kids. She has grandma camp. And so when you have grandma and grandpa camp, you've got to find things to do with your kids. So it gives some goals. It tells you some activities that you can do. Play a fun insect themed game. You could drop this into chat and you could, ask for some insect themed games. You can show some pictures, again, and then you can take this prompt and you can ask for it to do a topic research, right? So let's do some research on some bugs and let's see what we can find out about insects in the Midwest. So now they're learning about this. Now they've got some information about it. They can look for butterflies, ladybugs, ants, bees, grasshoppers. Here's some tools that you could get your kids. You could get a magnifying glass, a bug catcher, a notebook, and a pencil, a field guide. So many great things that you could do with them. And then you can also go into, again, our amazing virtual studio with your kids, and you can create some beautiful images of some kids that are playing and discovering some bugs, and go in and see. They've got their magnifying glasses. What do you want those to look like? And so there's so many great things that you can do. I went through and created a unit on bubbles with kids, and then created some really great images on that. So those are some really great things to do with those types of modules that you can use in education as an educator. And then there's also that college level, right? So, I wish I would have had this when I was working on my doctorate. My least favorite thing was making sure that it was MLA format or APA format, and going through and doing all of those types of things. And so again, you want to have your topic being the same. We'll just kind of look at this level of learning, right? Causes and effects of the Boston Tea Party, the American Revolution. What citation style? Always had to do APA, didn't like it, took me forever. I could write everything that I wanted. However, the APA style, I didn't like my topic. Maybe this is the problem here. It liked it yesterday. All right. So gives you some really great information, a nice concise essay that you can use. You can start, as well as these references that are down here and the word count. So pretty much on target for that. If you look at the level of learning on this, you've really amped up the level of learning. Yes, Ron, APA 7 is so annoying. Exactly. So if you're in college and you're needing help and support with this, so, it's really important to be able to use this. As you can see, right, public opinion as a form of terrorism, different things like that to really change that mindset. So those are some of the things that I think are really incredible about these modules that we have and the things that you can do with them. You can also go into, as an educator, I talk to educators about a lot of different pieces of modules. So you can talk to them about the marketing modules. People that are in high school, kids that are in high school, use the marketing modules all of the time for their DECA clubs or competitions. And so talking to kids and students about that, talking and looking for the module at the same time, going in and having them create this business marketing strategy is a huge tool for kids that are in high school, really even kids that are in student council, oftentimes even in elementary, middle, and high. They're learning about the economy, they're learning about marketing products. A lot of times you've probably heard of people saying things like, we had to create a product and we had to sell it at the school and we had to market it. Well, let's show our kids how to do that. Let's show them how to create a cold email. What would you do for all of that? So that's a really great way also for education, as well as the writing tools. There are so many great pieces to help our students be able to learn how to write, improve their writing by going in through these modules and using them. I was talking today on a LinkedIn audio cast. Another piece that's important for students and teachers is the the Ruby Presenter Generator. If you haven't used this, you can go into this generator and it helps you create a slide deck. I always say, sometimes don't you just need something to get you started on what you want your slides to be about? And so, you can put in your topic, what's the purpose of your slides, and what's the length of the presentation, and it will pop out some different choices of slides for you. And so we can try that again with our same topic. You guys are all gonna be like, the Boston Tea Party, enough already, Tanya. But if you were teaching this to your students, you really are, most of the time, they're using slides in classrooms these days, and so it's effective for them. We'll say to teach 5th grade students. Cause and effect of the American Revolution. The length of it, we'll say that it's a 30-minute presentation, and you can generate some slides for that. So this is what's awesome. Look at this. Slide 1, title, subtitle, content, introduction. Why would you not want to go here first? That's my first question. Why would you want to do something else with it? And so just incredible to get you started, right? Brewing Revolution. I love that title, right? Brewing the Revolution of the Boston Tea Party, exploiting the catalyst, introduction, and then different points on it. Then the next slide, the 13 colonies. Oh my gosh, right? I'm nerding out here. I'm sorry, I'm totally nerding out. So it is just incredible. There are so many components and capabilities that you can use Ruby for. Get in and play. If you haven't gotten in and played with it, do it. Now, let me tell you something else I did. So all of these things that I did, of course, I saved them all yesterday. Of course I did, because now, and I'm going to segue into Mike and whatever business piece he's going to talk about, but now I've got all of these images, the bubble images, the bug images, the revolution images, to now use as posts and discussions and sharing out with people in my community that I am talking to about about Ruby. And I've got these lesson plans I can share with teachers that I'm connected with. So just incredible things that I'm able to share out that I was able to play around with and produce in 20 minutes or so. So lots of days of content with it. So thanks so much for having me on
It's
here.
incredible.
Yeah, it is
Absolutely
incredible.
incredible. Thank you so much. I
You're
mean, you are such
welcome.
a huge part of our community and super happy to have you guys here. And
Yeah.
what you're doing in Africa is also amazing. So thank you so much for your leadership. I'm going to bring Corey